Welcome back to Outmaneuver. I'm Faith, and today we are here with Legends of the Force pre-release kit, and we're going to show how to build a pre-release deck. So when you show up to your event after July 3rd, you will get one of these boxes as your entrance. Inside includes 6 packs, and you will build a 30-card deck. Let's check it out. Opening up that seal, and inside we get, first off, one of these boxes, which we can hold our cards inside in the pre-release with the blue coloring for the set. And you're also going to get inside a package, which is going to include 2 leaders. And those are going to be hyperspace of the 2 spotlight leaders. If you want to check out what's inside the spotlight decks, you can check out our previous video where I go through and open up the spotlights. And so you've got 1 leader of Darth Maul and 1 leader of Qui-Gon Jinn. The neat thing about this is that in your pre-release, you can use these leaders. You also get inside 6 packs, and you get a counter tracker and a little instruction manual on how to build your pre-release deck. We've got the 3 different pack types for Legends of the Force, and we got 2 of each of them. So we've got Ahsoka and Baylan. We've got Yoda here, and we've got Talzin. Let's check out what we have inside. As we're opening our packs, we can only use for our deck construction cards we get that we open up. So let's check out what we get. And inside every pack, you're gonna get a leader. When I'm sorting my cards, I like to separate my leaders and all of my colors and aspects. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to also kind of breeze through the cards here. If you're watching this video, you might already know what they do. But as I do so, I'm going to, again, sort my cards based off of their aspects, as I find that will be helpful in the deck building process. What I do as I'm sorting is I'm putting my heroism cards on the top. I'm putting non-aligned cards here in the middle, and I'm putting my villainy cards on the bottom. As I do so, ooh, that's a very good card. Shin Flurry, great uncommon. As I do so, I am helping myself later sort the cards. Our first rare here is Axe Wolves, and we've got a says in tin, and this is what we have for our foil. So I like to personally keep my rares separated, and as you can see, I've got all my other cards here in a line based off of aspects. Let's open our second pack here. As we're doing so, we're looking at building a 6-card deck. Obi-Wan Kenobi is our next leader, and he may be one of the best leaders, in my opinion, in this set. I mean, you can watch other people's videos. They're very happy with the leader. So that's definitely an early strong consideration for where we'll be playing. So I'm just going to continue going on, sorting cards based off of their aspect identity. This Shin Flurry here is number 2, strong card. Chirrut, another very strong card. Vanny, and we've got a rare now, Dengar Spawn, with our uncommon hyperspace foil, Asajj Ventress. Very beautiful card. That's an uncommon rare card. Be very good. So far, after 2 packs, we've got 2 Shin Flurries. We also have this Chirrut over here. Obi-Wan Kenobi, very good card. We've got ourselves a good pack opening, a good pool so far. We're gonna build a 30-card deck. Here is our Mother Talzin. You're gonna get these common bases. Each common base is going to be of any aspect. So this one, they each have in this set, they each have 28 health. They all have this effect here. When a friendly force unit attacks, the force is with you. Create a force token. So on the back of these bases here, we've got this force token, and that's going to allow you to enable certain plays that will make yourself stronger. One of those plays is with Chirrut here. When he's attacked, you can use the force. If you do, the attacker gets -2, -0 for the attack. If you show up to your pre-release and you don't open, let's say like we so far have the command, the aggression, and the cunning. If we don't open the vigilance base, we can still ask the store for a copy of the blue base in this set, and we can use it. Also, you can also choose to use a 30 health base. However, this set is really going to be beneficial to have the force token, and so I would recommend using one of these uncommon bases. And we're going through, again, continually sorting our cards, because it'll help us to know which cards we're going to have more color aspect pairing. We're going to have a good number of cards. And this Jedi Counselor, very good card, especially with an Obi-Wan Kenobi. We're on our uncommons, and then so you get 3 uncommons. However, your third uncommon can might be a hyperspace, as this Rampage is, and then this slot here might be upgraded to a rare or legendary based off of it's a special card. But we do see there's a legendary coming up. Legendary in this set, our first one is always 2. So I personally, oh, that's a beautiful hyperspace foil of Cure Wounds. So our legendaries, we are able to use them. They are going to have intricate designs. The legendary in this game is usually going to be sometimes of high power, sometimes of a niche ability. This one is going to want us to have 2 Sith units, and so we'll have to see if that will become relevant with maybe a different leader. We've got Cal as our next leader. As we see here, we got the Holy City as one of our common bases, and Crystal Caves as the other. Even though both are cunning, that can happen. There are rare bases in this set, and those will be in your rare slot if you get them. I'm not going to lie, I was really hoping that Villainy Vigilance legendary was either a Darth Vader or an Anakin, but still very exciting to get a legendary nonetheless. We have 2 Lothwolves here. We're going to keep going through our cards, as we're just, right now, all we're doing is separating cards. So when we're starting to build our deck, and there's our next rare, and we've got our foil here. So we're just continually opening packs so we can build our deck. 14 playable cards in your main deck per pack. There's a Kit Fisto. And we are going to, so 14 times 6, you're looking at 64 cards in your pool, and you are going to build a 30 card deck. You might think that's a lot of extra cards that you have, but you're opening cards that are going to be aspects that you're not going to play. And so you have to keep that in mind. This Wampa here is from a previous set, so if you're new to the game, you'll sometimes find at the common rarity these cards that were in previous sets that get reprinted. And one of the reasons they do that is mostly so that way the limited environment, like what we're playing here, is more enjoyable because it's got cards that it would need to fill out its curve. Wampa, for instance, is a creature, and this set does have some creature synergy, so that would be a reason they might have included it. And here is what we were talking about. This here is that third uncommon slot. This is Singe Rollick. We got a legendary that now became a hyperspace, and we still get a rare after this, and it is going to be the Scythe. So big hit there with a hyperspace Singe Rollick, and we still got a foil, and our foil, another reprint, is the Padawan Starfighter at the hyperspace foil variant. Very cool to get our second legendary of this pre-release pool, and to get it as a hyperspace is really nice. So we got a second Kit Fisto. You can get the bases in hyperspace, which we just got there. Here is a medical frigate. And we're opening our last pack here. As we're seeing in this pack, you can also get your commons in hyperspace as well, and that's about halfway through your common pool. So a lot of ways to collect some different cards. Let's keep going here. We're almost done with our first stage of our sealed, which is just opening your packs and seeing what cards you get. After that, we're going to look at which cards we want to play with, and that will be a different story itself. Let's go Neiman Strike. We got a second Axe Wolves, and then a go into hiding. I mean, with two Axe Wolves, it'll be pretty hard not to want to play them. I'm going to look at our cards, and we'll kind of see what we're going to build. We do have to use one of the leaders that we opened, or our Qui-Gon Jinn or Darth Maul. So those are some options we're going to have. Obi-Wan looks really strong in this environment from kind of my playtesting, from what I'm looking at in cards. So I'm initially interested in Obi-Wan Kenobi with Axe Wolves. Can be very strong. So let me dive into these cards, and I will come up with some options for you after this break. And now that we've done a little sorting, I've decided that my villainy aspects just isn't good enough. One thing to know about Legends of the Force is there are going to be a lot of Force units in this set, a lot of cards that are built around the Force synergy. That is why these bases are going to be important. I was looking through my pool, and the villainy cards, well, I got some powerful villainy cards, especially I like the Kylo Ren there, can be strong if you can get an equipment on Kylo. It just wasn't enough that I found. Talzin could be a really strong card, but it wasn't enough. You do have some other Talzin. So those two cards together work well. However, I just didn't find that something I wanted to play. That leaves me in the hero alignment. And so I kind of pulled out the cards that excite me from these colors. So there are in yellow some early Force units to get the attacks, which can get me the Force token with my base, and then a way to use that Force token with the Shin Flurries, giving my cards ambush and protected. Will of the Force, which can return a non-leader card to its owner's hand and make that, if I use the Force, make that player discard a card. Vernestra here, who can, when played, if you use the Force, and she enters readied. So those are some of the really strong cards. This Youngling Padawan could be a great one too with Vernestra, and this J-type also drawing you a card when you play it. Can be some strong cards there. I really like Obi-Wan as a leader, as I mentioned. However, when I was looking through my colors, I didn't have a lot of green. So there's Following the Path here in Jedi Counselor. Jedi Counselor, as I mentioned, was a really good card. However, there wasn't a lot of green to back up that synergy. Unlike in Constructed, where you can just build any number of cards, this you are limited to what you open. In red, that Syndraulic, really strong card, potentially even better when you have a lightsaber, which we would have in this color. Syndraulic does cost 8. Asajj Ventress, a very good card as well, with any of our Force leaders, which we do have some Force leaders. And finally, blue, these Loth Wolves can't attack, but they are 3/3 Sentinels, so they'll keep me alive for a pretty good chunk of the game. And then I could follow up with an Ezra, the Night Sister Warrior, great to get a Force trigger off. There's also these Axe Wolves, which is really liking with Obi-Wan, giving using Obi-Wan's ability to give the Axe Wolves a token would instantly make them, with their shield token, a 5/5. So 5/5 potentially on turn 2 seems 5/5 shielded on turn 2 seems really good. One of the difficulties is going to be triggering that Force token, because we do need to attack with a Force unit. And in these colors, we would have our Night Sister Warrior and Jedi Counselor as a 2-cost Force unit. So that's something we have to be mindful of. I don't think that we're going to be able to play that, even though that sounds really fun. I'm seeing a lot in yellow, and so it is hard to not take Cunning as one of our 2 aspects. We can use Obi-Wan Kenobi. Lining up can be difficult with Obi-Wan Kenobi. So how Obi's ability works is you can play cards for free by returning other cards to your hand. I am a fan of Kit Fisto or Cal here, and There's going to offer us some yellow and red as our base colors. So after now I've eliminated Obi-Wan as my leader, I now would think about other leader choices that I could make. And for me, I'm not going to want to include Qui-Gon Jinn. I think he can be a very, very, very strong leader. However, you do need to time your cards very, very well. And I do not think I will get so lucky. So I'm between Kit Fisto and Cal. I really like Kit Fisto from my playtesting, so I'm going to go with Kit Fisto, and I'm going to try to build a red-yellow deck. Let's check what that looks like out in a moment. All right, and we are back, and we've developed our deck here. We took out some of the cards that we didn't need. We laid out our cards based off of our curve. In any kind of trading game, but especially in Star Wars Unlimited, you do want to make sure that you're playing cards every turn that you're able to, and you usually want to be using all of your resources that you can every turn. And so having this kind of natural curve where you can play cards different stages of the game can be helpful. We mentioned those Shin Flurries, which we are going to need our Force units. So we have Youngling Padawan, Mysterious Hermit that are going to get us the Force early, especially Jedi in hiding can also be a way to get that. And Venestra can be a great way to use that Force token that we have. And then later on in the game, we've got some creatures around here, especially in the 3 and 4 cost. And so we'll use that to kind of bridge us into a early mid game. And then we've got some 5 costs here at the top end. Kit Fisto will deploy on 5. And so using something like Asajj can be helpful to make our Kit Fisto stronger, along with having other Jedi on the board, like Venestra, Jedi in hiding there. Should be noted that Asajj is not a Jedi, so will not give you that buff. Finally, we do have Syndraulic as a top-end curve for us. We did only get one lightsaber, and so the odds of us getting to play it could be not great, not very high. However, in Limited, you are only getting to play with the cards that you open, and so sometimes really, really, really explosive plays may not have an easy answer, which can just instantly win us the game. So if we can get that where we play Syndraulic and get Knight's Saber onto him and get to attack with him right away, we can be dealing 8 damage readied, and so that can be enough to get us over the top.
It's been fine the other 2 games I've played it, but this one it's like just absolutely giving me no options.
Fair. We'll go take it. There you go, you can draw it.
Thank you.
And she does not have 7.
Yeah, but I'm taking off the shield.
So maybe can take that guy out. Lose his shield.
7 base for
The Force is with me.
Just because I can 6, 12, 18, 24.
Well, let's take it.
Alright, game 2.
I'm gonna pay 6 for a Curious Flock.
Add resource back.
Yeah, the thing I do like about this deck is I have a bunch of upgrades, and then there's that little guy that gives a shield to a guy to send that.
Yeah.
Because it's a Force unit too, so even if it doesn't hit, you can attack him.
That's
They'll have a really hard time justifying attacking
you
units
attached to
0, 5.
Jedi.
Right.
Alright.
It's the only item in the deck.
Alright.
Attack for 8. Your base.
3 to 11.
I'm staying 8.
I'm gonna finally go up to 7.
Smart.
Where's a shatter point when you need it?
Oh.
I'm gonna give Sin -1,
Yeah.
-1 for the phase.
Sin will attack for
Yeah,
7.
Tyler was really wants some upgrades.
11 to 18. It's only 7, 7.
Taking the shield on this one.
him off.
Yo.
I was just realizing I shuffled so bad.
Check.
At least you got it in your open hand.
Late one.
Yeah.
Could you imagine that if your leader was
I'll
in
claim.
your deck and
Don't
you
think there's
play it
anything.
for free on essentially short term or whatever it costs
That's
you,
game,
you can
alright.
shuffle it.
I think I was losing that game without the symbolic lightsaber exact cards.
Those are the 2 cards you drew.
I didn't. No, I had Syndrome.
Oh, okay.
But I'm saying without those, like that 2-card combo.
Yeah, that
Combo.
really allowed you to just go base.
Yeah, because you were like tapped out and it was like 8, and then next turn swing for 8 again. Plus like represents 16, which is. This is the deck that I have. A Kid Fisto may seem underwhelming, especially when he's deployed as a 1/6 with Saboteur. However, trust me, that front side ability, very strong. Great way to control the board. And that's what we're going to try to use to get us to Syndrolic at the end. So thank you everyone for checking out this deck tech. And this is a pre-release deck for Legends of the Force. You can build your own at your local game store after July 3rd. So the set comes out and you can check out set 5 of Star Wars Unlimited. Thank you. We'll see you next time on Outmaneuver.